to make a statement and then invite others to speak before taking questions.
Thank you. I wanted to be here today to tell you how honored I am that I was asked by John Marshall to partner up with one of Chicago's greatest lawyers, Mr. Montgomery, in trying to address a wrong that not only do all Chicagoans and most likely most people in the entire community of Cook County, but the world know. And that is there were the Chicago police from 1973 all the way through 1991 at a minimum, those are the years that I call a minimum, engaged in a practice of torture, a practice of lying, of cover-up, and that cover-up continued all the way, in my opinion, until today. But at least we can show for sure, as late as June 17th of 2010, when Mr. Burge took the stand in his own trial and continued to lie and lie again. The reason I wanted to be a part of this is, as I'm sure you all know, my father's a criminal defense lawyer here in the city, and I grew up with tales of what was going on at Area 2. I grew up at 93rd in Michigan, which was right down the street at the time from Area 2, which was on 90th and Cottage Grove. And time again, I met clients of my father's who would come in and tell us of tales of being electrocuted, that would come in and tell us tales of being beaten, of plastic bags being put over their head and suffocated these men so that they could extract false confessions. And then they would go into court and lie again to judges who would take those lies and use them as a way of continuing this forward and not addressing the wrongs that were occurring. And that's really why I wanted to be a part of this, and I'm honored to be a part of this with Mr. Montgomery. Because what is important to me now, everybody knows this is 20, 30, 25 years ago that these things happened. But the question is, are these cover-ups, are these lies going to continue today? Nobody other than Mr. Burge is in prison for this. And he was not placed in prison because of the torture. He was placed in prison because of lying about the torture. Well, Chicago police, law enforcement, state's attorneys that engage in this kind of practice, engage in this kind of cover-up, need to know they will be held accountable. And that's what Mr. Jones' case is about today. Not only is it to redress the wrongs that he went through, and believe you me, if you read the complaint, you'll see that he was tortured, lied, then framed on a second case, and spent 5 years in jail, all while telling these tales that nobody believed until now we know that it's true. But the cover-up continues into this day, and that's what I want personally out of this lawsuit, is to make sure that people understand that they will be held accountable. That just because you're poor, disenfranchised, and black on the south side of Chicago doesn't mean that eventually we will get your wrongs right. And that's what this is about. And so I appreciate you coming today. Those are the remarks that I have. I'd like to offer just a few moments of speaking for Mr. Melvin Jones here to my left.